like and subscribe. What outrageously misogynistic incident or comment left you so stunned that you cold not even respond? It comes from the most unlikely places sometimes. I work in staffing. We regularly run background checks in staffing. I had a new employee come to me for advice on a background to see if it was permissible. His candidate had a rape charge. I said absolutely not. Especially violent or sexual crimes are never permissible for any of our clients. He then proceeded to tell me it should be okay because the charge was filed by his wife. I had to explain to him that rape is rape, no matter the parties involved. He was an absolute idiot. A guy who, when I told him that I am a business owner, would not believe that my business was copywriting and marketing and not OnlyFans. The convo was about how women are never the breadwinners yet expect a man to do everything for them. I brought up that I work 60 hours a week and my boyfriend does most of the housework and cooking. Then he went on to tell me that my boyfriend probably resents me secretly. Like, dude, I make close to 6 figures alone, and he gets to play video games for most of the day. Hello's living the dream. I work in tech, a very male-dominated field. Many years ago, I worked for a company that was headed by a woman. They hired a new person to head my department who was a huge misogynist and overtly sexist. Multiple women filed complaints against him with ours. He was put on coaching plans after they found they were valid. Ultimately, every woman who worked under him quit or got a transfer, including me. They kept him in the company. I was meeting with the head boss one day on something else. My old supervisor's name came up during conversation in a benign way, like, okay, that room is adjacent to this person's office. She then spoke up and said, he is absolutely terrible. It's so bad we cannot even let him supervise women anymore. I was so taken aback. First, that is illegal. You cannot not hire women or have women work in a department because the boss is overtly sexist. Second, she is a woman and was actively prohibiting women from working in tech. I left shortly after. A couple of days ago, I was on another subreddit. I mentioned that I'm 26 and still live with my parents for financial reasons. A guy came and commented on my post that at 26, apparently, I'm supposed to be living with a romantic partner and not with my parents. He continued that, if I didn't find someone, and apparently soon, that I would become a spinster cat lady who would hate men. Also that the women in my life should have taught me these things, but apparently had failed. I told him his opinion was offensive and sexist, and proceeded to block him. I am a 30-something woman that lives alone with her cats. And while I do not hate or no vertical bar, I do hate their audacity. Get yourself some cat strength. When I was first hired at my university, my department head tried to convince me to move to the city instead of commuting. I told him I could not, because where I live was halfway between my job and my with-earth job, my wife being a tenured professor and department head at another university. The bird said, without missing a beat, oh, just get her pregnant and shit will calm down. He was completely serious. While getting written up for my dress being too short, I was told something along the lines of, we do this for your protection, because that's how attacks happen. I really wanted to tell him that's funny, because when I was attacked I was in jeans and a shirt, but I knew I couldn't say it without crying. Years ago I was dating a large animal vet. Great woman, tall, smart, strong, nice looking. She had like 3 degrees, from serious academic institutions. Anyways, we were at a farm, and I was riding along with her, because it was my day off. So if I didn't go it was gonna just be me, myself, and a couple critters all day. So she tells this farm manager that if he doesn't do the thing, his client's horse is gonna die. So he is hemming and hawing about whatever. She gives me the really? Side eye. So I just repeated verbatim what she said. Dude was like, yeah, that is a great idea. Let's do that. Without missing a beat. So she writes prescriptions and instructions on how to keep a multi-million-dollar race machine alive. Then we hop in the truck. I was looked at her and said, did that really just happen? And she was like, oh my god, I thought it was just me. Then as we drove off the farm she was like, you really saw that? And of course I had. Apparently it was thing that happened all the time. But everyone just blew it off. It was not the last time it happened, just the most memorable, because she was all excited I saw it. I was in a male-dominated meeting advocating for additional funds for my department. When I finished, the chair looked at another male and said, wow, she's feisty today. In middle school a boy cornered me before walking into a class and told me he was going to find me later and rape me. When I reported to the teacher said, oh, he probably just likes you. Holy Jesus Christ, what is this? Valley of the Dolls? What an absolute of a teacher. I'm sorry that happened to you. I dated someone in 8th grade whose older brother told me this. I told his mother, and she said the same thing. I never went back to that house. He is now in jail for serial rape. I learned a similar lesson in kindergarten. What the? I had something like that in school. A random guy I'd never met before started calling me his girlfriend. I said we didn't know each other, and this dude knew my schedule, my friends, what car my mom picked me up in, and knew what neighborhood I lived in. I reported it because what? They told me it wasn't a big deal and he just likes me. Me, my cousins, and their BFS were all sitting together eating dinner one night. One of my cousin's boyfriends straight up, while sitting in between his girlfriend and his 3-year-old daughter, that any woman wearing a skimpy dress at the club is asking to be raped. I'm not a very confrontational person, but this really set me off. As a woman, I was so triggered. This casual or vertical bar a vertical bar a vertical bar. Asterisk you are vertical bar asterisk my blood was boiling. We got into a heated argument about it, and I did not give a single about ruining the night. I could not believe the absolute stupidity and ignorance of this dude. Soon after, my cousin dumped him. But, F anyone who thinks like that. His poor daughter. Fat ears close to what I was going to comment. I have been told that I deserve to get raped if I wear leggings to a bar. Even better, this came from a male family member. Granted he was extremely drunk when he said it, but wooty. I proceeded to show him the art exhibit of what women were wearing when raped. He was too drunk to process it though. I think he was like blackout at the time. Still, I feel very uncomfortable wearing leggings and other form-fitting clothes around him. This reminds me of when I was living in a house with 2 other martyrs, 1 girl, 1 guy. We were all young professionals in the human rights / international development field in DC, so generally quite progressive. One night the other girl and I were talking about the Steubenville rape case, and the guy roommate got home in the middle of our convo. So we just said we were talking about that rape case with football players in Steubenville, and he immediately went, oh man, that girl looked like a fine slut. I lost my god. Head mind. I started explaining very forcefully how ed up that was, until the other girl roommate got me to go upstairs to calm down. Our relationship with the guy roommate never recovered in the 6 more months we all lived together. He really revealed himself that day, and became my go-to example of how progressive people can still have some really ed up views. I work in property management, and this man likes to call and yell at me about the balance on his account. Always paid his rent late, late fees pile up, and that is my fault, because I am just here to make everyone miserable, right? I go in circles with this guy for 20+ minutes, until he straight calls me idiot girl, then proceeds with I need to speak to a man. You idiot girls never know what you're talking about. I'm a woman. The property manager is a woman. The property manager's manager is a woman. The CEO of our company is a man. He is the only man on this side of the company that can look at the account. I said fine, please hold, proceeded to call Mr. CEO to advise him of the situation. He said abso. Gladly I transferred the call, and could hear him yell at this grown adult for being disrespectful. His balance was paid off pretty quick after that. I had a boss tell me that women make too big of a deal out of rape because it is just someone putting something inside you, it is not like they are killing you. This was a man I always respected and liked working with, and after that I called no look at him. This was my first job. I was only 19 at the time, and this was the early 2000 years, so I did not know that it was something that should be reported. Such a disgusting creep. Oh, well, if it's not a big deal, let me take this job and shove it up your. Why do people complain about getting stabbed or shot? They're just having something get put inside of them. No big deal. The body loves that stuff. Women make too big of a deal out of rape because it is just someone putting something inside you, it is not like they are killing you. 1. Tell that to the people who die as a result of rape-inflicted injuries. 2. Is killing the bar now? Like, I can chop some of his body parts off, and as long as he survives we're all good. Cool. Jaw-droppingly insensitive. Bet this guy would not have the same reaction about anal. Aside from the obvious fact that there is more to it than that, I do not know why these sorts of men act like women do not also get murdered after being raped all the time. 3 weeks ago my new roommate was coming to move in some of her stuff. We were going to meet to walk around the farmer's market before her parents got there, for which she texts me, by the way, I apologize for my dad in advance. I did not respond because I wanted to ask her in person. So we get there, and a little bit into it I go, so what is up with the text about your dad? What, is he going to call me a racial slur in my own apartment or something? In Southeast Asian. To which she responded, I'm a no vertical bar, maybe not. Yeah, hello's pretty racist, but hey, I don't think hello'll say it to your face. Or at least I hope not. And I only hello vertical bar, excuse me? And she goes, well, yeah, are also a woman and he really does not believe in woman being in any industry. So he definitely does not respect you. I mean my mom, and I beg him to stop, but we cannot change him. So sorry if he says anything. I said, wait. So you put up with your dad being a misogynist as well as a racist, and you want me to be subjected to it in my own apartment? Millimeters. Well, we cannot change him, so the silence. And for anyone wondering, the only question he ever asked me was why I dropped out of college, which I did know. I transferred to the city we currently live in, but asked my boyfriend his entire life story and more. Nothing more was said to me, nor did he even acknowledge my presence. There was an Italian guy, early 20s, in a group training for a new analyst job. The group was led by a super badass female manager whose literal job was to moderate the convo, but this dude had the audacity to cut her off and say no, let the men discuss. Hello vertical Barbara. I was shocked at the blatant disrespect. How did she respond? Oh, we need to know what happened. Tell us what she did. A client mansplaining the sexual harassment joke he made about me to my face after I did not laugh. Usually asking someone to explain a sexual innuendo joke is a great way to get them to clam up, but this guy really went for it. Wow, what an idiot. Surprise, surprise, my boss did nothing about it because the guy is a regular client. B vertical bar honorary. For work, I look after maintenance budgets on 128 commercial buildings, and my job requires a lot of interaction with tradespeople. While I was pregnant I was sent a plumbing quote wanting to spend 23 hours to do one tap install. The job at best should have been 3 hours. I sent it back to the plumbers questioning it. The plumbers emailed me back saying my boss and their department head and asked if I was having a pregnancy mood swing. I didn't actually have to do anything. My boss rained hell on them, and the estimator was disciplined. I've never awarded any more work to him after that. I hated that kind of comment on mood swings, or must be hormonal. But love hearing about bosses sticking up for their employees, and not letting this go. Wow. And yeah, they earned the blacklisting. I was interviewing for a postdoctoral position at Federal Research Facility after finishing a PhD that had a significant computational portion, lots of statistics, math and coding. The interview panel was 2 people, one woman in her 40s and an older man in his 60s. During the interview the old dude asked me 3 different times if I was intimidated when I saw large numbers and sir. I repeatedly said oh no, my thesis has a large computational portion and I used to teach some of that as well. Then he asked me 2 more times and that when I was so vertical bar, because he did not believe me despite having published papers in the topic. The woman looked visibly uncomfortable but said nothing. Had to hard pass on that job offer. I just came from a TikTok of a guy saying feminism has taught women to think of themselves as the prize but fear not. They don't deserve to be treated as queens unless they are submissive and do as he says. This is why attractive women are single nowadays because they are delusional and expect men to chase them when no man will after she turns 30. I was like WTH. Sad as a lot of men are thinking this way now. You've been visited by the ghost of a very important man. Pay your respects by liking and subscribing, and he'll grant you 3 weeks of good luck.